Well, hello, I am attorney Merideth Nagel, and I'm here with my dog Elway. And we are both so glad that you took the time to watch this video about estate planning and why it's important to you. Now, I'm going to get rid of him for just a minute because he's getting white all over my suit. Bye, honey. Okay, so let's talk about estate planning. That's a phrase that is sometimes used, and sometimes clients say, well, I don't have an estate. I'm not a rich person. I don't need estate planning. Well, I'm here to tell you that everybody needs estate planning. And when we use that phrase, here's what we mean. Estate planning typically includes a will, which is just what you think it is. It's the document that describes exactly how you want your property to be dispersed after you pass away. Who are your beneficiaries going to be? Is it going to be sold? Is it going to be held in trust? Those kind of things. So that's, and also who's going to be your personal representative, who's going to be in charge of distributing your property. So that's what your will does. But there's also some really other important documents that you need that govern not just what happens to you when you die, but while you're still alive. So in addition to the wills and trusts, which we'll talk about in a minute, the other documents we typically recommend are a power of attorney, a healthcare surrogate, a designation of prenatal guardian, and a living will. So let's talk first about the power of attorney. This document gives whomever you choose the ability to conduct all your business for you if and when you're unable to do so for yourself. This allows the person who holds that power of attorney, what we call the agent. This allows your agent to deal with your lender, with your bank, with the IRS, with your insurance company, with the hospital. They get to essentially act as you. And the power of attorney is extremely helpful if you become incapacitated, either temporarily or full-time or permanently, or if you're injured, out of the country, ill, you can't make an appointment because it's inconvenient. I mean, this document can be used in a variety of situations that help you while you're still with us. So that's a very important part of estate planning, is that power of attorney. Also important is a healthcare surrogate. That's the document where you name who is going to make the healthcare decisions for you when you are unable to make those decisions yourself. You get the opportunity to name in that document who makes those decisions in order of preference. This is particularly helpful so that you don't have a family situation where children are disagreeing about how you should be taken care of. Other family members are disagreeing. Each is trying to give the doctor different instructions. Because of this healthcare surrogate document, you've named the people in the order that you've selected. You've named those people who can make those decisions, and that's who the doctors will turn to. So it really solves a lot of chaos, and also helps make sure that you have you've selected the person to make those decisions who's most understands you and your needs and would make a decision most closely in line with a decision you could make yourself if you're able to do so. Another document that's similar and very important is a living will. That's the document that we use that lets the doctors know what you want to have happen with your body when your spirit is departed. This is often kind of in the slang, do we pull the plug or not? This is a very, very difficult decision for family members to make. And when confronted with that decision, I have seen many times that families have almost been torn apart because there was not a living will in place. And in this living will, you say ahead of time what services you want to have provided to you in that scenario. Doctors have decided you're likely not to recover. And do you want a feeding tube? Do you want water? Do you want an intubation? Or do you just want to be left to die peacefully and with dignity? That's going to be your choice, and that living will makes sure that it's your choices that are followed. It also gives tremendous peace of mind to your family members who have to take action on that living will. It's one thing to know or think you know what your parent or your loved one wants if and when that time comes. It's another thing to have a document in their hand that you signed when you were in great shape, to let them know exactly what those wishes are and make sure that they're followed through on. So in addition to those documents, we sometimes do what's called a trust. Now, this can get very confusing and complicated for folks, and I want to try to make it as simple as I can. A trust is a legal entity that is set up by you and that you are in charge of while you're alive. You're solely in charge of it. This document tells the world how you want your property to be handled. It's like a will in that you can give very specific and detailed instructions, but unlike a will, any of the property that you put in your trust does not have to go through probate. It is not subject to the probate fees, which can be high, and is not subject to the length of time that it takes to take a will through probate. Any document any property that's held in trust, if you pass away, immediately the people that you name as the person to take over after you're gone, they just step right in your shoes. They can immediately sell the property, do anything they need to administer your estate. And you don't have to worry about court involvement. You also don't have to worry about it being filed in the public records the way that a will is. And you don't have that expense and time of the probate. So a trust can be a really good vehicle to own property to avoid the probate. When you make an appointment with an estate planner, whether it's me or anyone across the country, one of the main questions you're going to want to ask is, tell me now what I can do to avoid the probate process. Sometimes it can be handled by the trust we've talked about. Other times you can change the title to your property in such a way that as soon as you pass away, it goes immediately to your beneficiaries, whether it's your real property or your personal property, bank accounts, brokerage accounts, anything like that. So make sure that you're asking about that at your estate planning appointment, in addition to all of the particular documents that we've talked about and some others that maybe your professional might recommend to you based on where you're located. One thing that you should be very comfortable about when you meet with your estate planner is to give them the full story. Let them know your concerns about what might happen after you pass away. Let them know about the family dynamic, because they can work with you and have strategies and tips so that you can, to the extent possible, keep all of those problems down to as dull a roar as can be made. And so that when you're in a situation that you need help or you've passed away, it can be as calm and peaceful for everyone as possible. Now, a lot of people think that estate planning is very expensive, and it's really not, especially when you consider the peace of mind that it provides you and all of the problems that you avoid. So I want to encourage you all. Nobody, including me, likes to do this. It's not fun to sit down and think about what's going to happen when you're gone or when you're incapacitated, too old or sick to take care of yourself. It's a very painful and difficult time. But if you'll do it now, it's going to save you so much problem when those things happen, because honestly, for most of us, if we live long enough, we're going to need that kind of help. So it's going to be a lot easier for you to plan ahead of time and avoid problems for your family and avoid problems for yourself. Most estate planners will talk to you at a consultation for free. And again, prices vary depending on the size of your estate and where you're located, but it's always a good, safe economic investment when you consider the return, and that is this peace of mind to know that it's done and done correctly. Folks who I work with in estate planning, and I practice in Illinois, Florida, and Texas, folks that work with me get the opportunity, once we're done, we get the plan exactly like they want. They can meet with me once a year for free to just go over their plan, see if there's any changes. So make sure you ask your estate planning professional if that's a service that they offer, and if not, if they're willing to extend it for you. That way you'll know that you'll have an opportunity to go over everything regularly and make any changes that you might need as time goes along. If you're located in Illinois, Texas, or Florida and you need some help with estate planning, please feel free to call me. Again, my name is Merideth Nagel. My phone number is 394-7408. I hope this video has been helpful, and please pass it around and share it to as many people as you think might need this information. I hope to meet you sometime in the future. If I don't get an opportunity to do that, I wish you all the best. And again, thank you for taking some time to really consider and think about what's a very difficult issue. Thanks again.